Soup Store. Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. RPG horror stories isn't everything that I want to do on the channel. Some of the things I want to do is actually try streaming, because according to y'all, I'm not a VTuber until I live stream. So I guess we'll just live stream some games, maybe like RPGs, VR RPGs. I think that'd be fun, because, well, I have VR. That's how I'm able to move myself around, or just play any other RPG. I'm honestly open to suggestions. Anyway, before I become a VTuber and do my first stream, let's get to the first story for today. I had enough with my DM, and his ego didn't survive it. So, where to start? 10 months ago, I finally started my D&D journey. After moving to the much bigger city and finding a TTRPG club, I played my first D&D session and fell in love with it. Started playing every week. Was so enthusiastic about stories my DM created that I missed the red flags, which were apparent from the first session. He had an NPC that was used not only in the campaign, not only as a dwarf, he was a head of guard of the town, and our group was solving some mysteries, while the NPC told us he would tell some important information if some of our male members compete with him at drinking. So my warlock with a -1 constitution decided to try. I failed miserably. DM stated describing how Dwarf trying to take me with him to his home to basically abuse my PC. What the hell? Only the girls that played with me that day helped me, restraining NPC from my PC's body. I don't know why I didn't think it's not normal to put literal struggle snuggle in your D&D game as an element that can happen to the PC. Yeah, because most people wouldn't. Most people would just be normal and civil about it and respectful and not expose their players to this sort of scenario unless specifically agreed ahead of time, and even then keep it on a very down low and stuff, because what? For the next 10 months, things were getting worse. I became DM's favorite player, from his own words, but strange behavior became only more and more creepy. The amount of times he described the female NPCs as some messed up sex dolls with zero personality. The jokes he made about POC in our country, it's just a shame that I ignored it all. How do you ignore all that? I mean, it's kind of pretty blatant, making fun of like POCs and then sex dolls. I don't see how somebody could just ignore sex dolls unless they have invisibility cast on them. What? There are two cases which made me give up any kind of relationship with him. First, at the break in the middle of this one shot, he waited when we were alone and asked me if I want a racist joke. I didn't, but decided it's better hear a cringe than miss it, at least that time. DM said, I'm currently planning on wallpapering my bedroom. Will you call your brothers? For context, I'm not having any siblings. And the joke is about people who go to our country with work purpose from Central Asia, like every Turkish person, just like me, works some poorly paid jobs and has a big family. And this was not a red flag for you to just leave and get the hell out? Huh? I was stunned because I was thinking that going on the rant about it would be aimless, because I knew he might say sorry, but he wouldn't understand what he's saying wrong. So I was dumb enough to stay silent. Never do this, kids. In one hell of the situation, better loud than miserable. Yeah, better loud than miserable. I wish you would have been loud there and said, dude, that's kind of messed up. Why are you telling me all these jokes? What the hell? It's not even close to funny. It's not even funny. If the only one person is laughing at the joke, it's not funny at all. What? Second, DM asked me to go on his birthday because he considers me as a friend, and I was too shy to say no. The plan was for everyone, 4 males, to bring our one shot and take turns DMing. The birthday itself wasn't that bad. I DM'd for the first time and everyone had fun. On the next, he asked me for the feedback, to which I responded something like, I can't tell any concrete things, but after said that, I enjoyed and what I didn't, but my first sentence makes him furious. The DM starts to rant on how it's obnoxious for a creator to hear that his art is not given and etc. in passive-aggressive form. I apologized, but felt that I didn't deserve the attitude. I mean, the attitude to criticism and stuff like that is a problem, but you have a sex-best racist DM that is clearly saying some horrible things to you and towards you, and that should be the least of your problems, that he's upset he didn't get proper feedback for the one shot. What? A few days earlier, I had a conversation with my friend in which we discussed how much of a crappy person our DM is, which made me send him a message, in which I told him how horrible his action was, that I won't continue playing at his table. He answered, and oh my god, how cringe it was. DM said I wrote some kind of gibberish that he can't understand about what racism I was talking on and on. Then I betrayed him. He didn't understand anything and blocked me. Well, good to me. This cringy weeaboo MF has no power over me, at least for now. Of course, it's the problem person that gets offended. Oh, you don't like me? What racism are you talking about? You don't like my stuff? You betrayed me. No, dude, you did it yourself. You're literally the most impossible person to be around. I'm glad this OP is out of the situation and doesn't have to deal with this person, but it's always important to look for red flags and be very loud and say when you don't appreciate someone being a dickhead. Anyway, screw the DM. Let's get to the next story for today. Player insults me repeatedly, and I make things worse by standing my ground. Hey there, need some play to put down my thoughts and feelings in an organized manner while also getting some opinions for my dilemma. So to give some small context, I'm in a maritime campaign that has been going on for 4 to 5 sessions with 2 college friends, and then 2 of the DM's friends. We're also playing online. DM, college friend, druid, college friend, ranger, DM's friend, paladin, DM's friend, and a problem player. Me as me. The problem war started in session 1. In the group, ranger and druid are relatively quiet and passive people, so they need an opportunity window to be able to get ready to talk. Paladin, on the other hand, is a very assertive and animated, so for the majority of session 1, he took the spotlight. I got a few words in and ranger did not talk for the entirety of it. Session 2 is where I regarded him as a problem. On the ship, we each have specific roles that we wanted when the adventure started, with me being the cook, and Druid wanted to be the cartographer or map person. They had specifically charted the course through star maps and astrology. In RP, I had asked them, "Where's Hercules?" which caught them off guard and they said they don't know of that constellation. Instantly, Paladin jumped in and told me, "It's D&D, the stars aren't the same." I replied, "I just want to have fun," and that seemed to set him off. As a response, he dug into me hard about how I was dumb for believing make-believe land and real life have the same stars, that I was an idiot for making a new constellation on the spot, and so on and so forth. To me, I wanted to have a cool RP moment with the druid where we talked about the line of work and different constellations we knew. Later from the DM, I heard that they thought I was trying to embarrass Druid. There's nothing wrong with stating something for the sake of having an RP conversation. You're role-playing, you're RPing and stuff. Besides, you can't exclude the Big Dipper and Little Dipper out of campaigns. They're the classics. I'm kidding, by the way. It doesn't matter. You can have your own constellation if you want, and it's fine. The player just trying to make conversation, just trying to chat things up. They're not trying to change the lore or something, or change anything, or try to attack the druid in any way. Second edit. I just realized I was remembering things wrong in session 2. Me and Druid had meta commentary around the constellation Hercules after I asked him in character about it. After that was done and we were about to go back to RP is when Paladin stepped in. Being berated can sour a person's feelings, so I messaged the DM that I would not be berated like that, and if there was a problem, he could talk to me. I also mentioned I would leave if that happened again. We had a 2-week break after that session, and it was my mom's birthday, DM's birthday on game day. For the next session, it was a bit quiet, as Paladin told us about 30 minutes before the session started that they had friends coming over, and he would pass his mic around for us to talk to his friends. This didn't happen, as I voiced my concerns that I didn't feel comfortable. Near the halfway mark, they also said they would need to leave early, as some online friends wanted him to play Tarkov, and he announced that in the middle of the game. He left shortly after to go play, and after it was the best session. We had a lot of character development for Ranger. We felt like we could speak freely. Session after was the last straw. It's something you probably all should have talked to the DM about and said, "Hey DM, we gotta notice that having the Paladin around makes it a little difficult for us, so maybe we could just not have him in, or maybe have a conversation or talk, solve these things out of game first and foremost before anything bad can happen and hurt feelings can happen and stuff like that." But let's continue. For most of the time between session 2 and 3, I had been feeling a lot of resentment to Paladin, as I felt like I was owed an apology. Perhaps I was wrong about wanting one, but that's how I felt. And I wanted to talk with him about the issue, but couldn't, as he wasn't there after session to talk. I also formed a certain image of Paladin in my head, and I need to take certain precautions so I don't get into another attack from him. I talked with the DM about this as a friend, and not the DM, and came to the conclusion it was a me issue and I couldn't get over something. One of the best things to do is talk to the player directly. If nothing can happen from that conversation, or the conversation doesn't go anywhere, talk to the DM afterwards and let him know how the conversation went and if they can do something about it. Because I mean, if you got bad blood with another player, first thing to do is to figure out what the bad blood is. Maybe figure out like a good time after session to like hang out in Discord and just talk out the grievances, talk things out. People don't talk things out anymore, and it's kind of a problem. I'm thinking a lot of things could be solved fairly easily if you were just to talk things out. Session 4 was last night on an important religious holiday and my birthday, so I told the group I'd be a bit late and they could start without me. I came late and found they haven't started yet as Paladin wasn't there. They didn't tell anyone either. They came 10 minutes later. A little while later, Paladin wanted to know where the druid was in an establishment and asked some NPC about it. Then they said that the DM should roll a save for the passive perception to know they're lying. Wouldn't you roll insight, not perception? Unless you're looking for the druid or something, I don't know. I found this strange, so I spoke up saying that's not it. And they told me to shut up. Just shut up. After Paladin was done with his RP, I spoke in voice and said, "Hey man, I don't like you telling me to shut up. Can you not do that?" The reply was along the lines of, "That's how I talk with my friends." After that, I wanted to talk more about the out-of-game issue and the table, which ended in a 10-minute break. Paladin, the player you tell shut up to is not your friend. It's not your buddy that you can just talk whatever with. I get it, right? You probably like, maybe that's how you talk with your friends. If you talk with your friends like that, I doubt you really have much of friends if you just tell people just to shut up for the sake of saying shut up. But like, this is a person that you don't know. This is a person that you're at the table should probably show at least a modicum of respect to. At least you would think this is not your buddy. That's not your friend. So you should probably show him respect and not just tell him to shut up. Especially if the player said, "Don't tell me to shut up." The thing that really got me was that he said before we went on break, in essence he told the table that he is sorry this happened and sorry for how my actions are disrupting the game and molding it in a way to make me seem like the aggressor, while him seeming like the man who is dealing with a big scary monster. During the break, I talked with Ranger about it a little and how I felt, and they gave me their thoughts which sided with me. After the break, I really just lost all interest in the game, was admittedly making things harder. After the game, the DM pulled Paladin and I in a separate VC to talk it out, and he again started with, "I'm sorry for you feeling and how my actions made you feel," a non-apology, which made him a mind that I wanted to leave the game. I left things off on a sour note and spoke to the DM after. One of the most non-apologies ever. "I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you feel that way." You know how I wouldn't feel? I wouldn't feel so bad if you weren't such a dickbag about it. Some people just have no accountability for their actions, and they'll just say anything they can in the most passive-aggressive way because they never see themselves as the aggressor or at fault in any way, in any capacity. You can't have conversations with these sort of people. If somebody generally does not see or is just blinded, just completely blindsided by how their crappy actions made others feel crappy, then there's no conversation to have with them. They think they're never in the wrong. It's going to be impossible to communicate with them whatsoever. You just gotta stop at that point. I say the OP should just leave the game, because if the DM is not dealing with this and the player's constantly being a dickhead about it, then leave. They really wanted the game to work out and felt as if they were the issue, which it wasn't. It's primarily me, as I made things worse for that session and spoke publicly about things rather than keeping it in private. No, nothing is wrong with talking about issues and saying that, "Hey, I don't like how this other player is being a jerk to me." There's nothing wrong with that. Speak up. It's important to speak up. Don't bottle things in. This is how issues become, this is how things implode when it comes to like TTRPG tables, because people hold on to their feelings and then finally burst out into this big thing and then everything explodes. Later, I talked to Ranger in private to ask a non-biased opinion on, am I being a baby or am I justified? And they reinforced my opinions. Apparently they had also issues with Paladin, but hadn't voiced them publicly like I had, and they thought me bringing up a problem in the game wasn't cool but understandable. Ultimately, the game is going on for 2-week hiatus while the DM recuperates, and so me and Paladin can make nice before the game. I agreed to talk for the sake of DM, but ultimately I feel there's no good way to get past this. Can't imagine a scenario where I feel safe with Paladin or a conclusion that leaves us amicable. Still want to play, the times with Ranger and Druid are great, and I enjoy it a lot. I know I have done wrong, but I know I'm not fully wrong. Just need some general help if you're willing to help. Edit. I'd like to say thank you for your comments about the situation, whether they're encouraging me to leave, take a step back and looking, or acknowledge my fault in a problem. I know I'm not a blameless party, and if I didn't say it in the original post, I still know it to be true. I'm going to talk more with the other party to try and get more of their feelings in the situation. Ranger had said they don't like the spotlight hogging from Paladin, and Druid hadn't answered me yet. I'm also going to talk with Paladin and the DM as the mediator, as that's what I promised to my friend before the post. And if it ends poorly, then I'm already thinking of leaving the game anyway. Well, sounds like you know exactly what to do. Go for it, and I hope the conversation goes well. And if it doesn't go good, then listen, just find a different game. Maybe you just don't mesh. Maybe there's just a lot of player clash, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it for you, it's not worth it for anybody else, and yeah, you're not a blameless party and stuff, but trying to solve the problem and trying to have a conversation with the DM as a mediator, that's better than nothing, so go for it. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.